What is going on, Dragon Ball fans? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball fan manga review, where today we're going to be reviewing the fan manga entitled Dragon Ball EX or Dragon Ball X, which is a fan-made manga set to take place after the events of Dragon Ball GT. And for many years now, I've been reviewing and looking over fan-made Dragon Ball mangas and concepts, so today we're going to be diving into a brand new chapter here today. Now, the events of Dragon Ball X take place right after the events of Goku versus Omega Shenron, and having to recap the events of the overusage of the Dragon Balls, and we start off with a very interesting event having to date back to Dragon Ball X chapters 1 and 2, where we resume Dragon Ball X chapter number 3 with Goku having to leave after someone or something has gotten into his body. Now we see Goku using instant transmission and leaving, and we see how he arrives and an unknown person has picked up on the idea that Goku has a tail, and Goku says, "Who are you?" And then that's when this mysterious person says, "He has a tail in that face. How did you get here? Would you like something to eat?" Now a lot of us would ultimately presume that this is Gohan. This is in fact not Gohan, and that's when Goku says, "Shit, I forgot how that presence of the damned felt like. No way, I'll have to keep trying." And that's when this person says, "You don't know how much I've been looking for you. Don't just stand there, make yourself at home." And that's when this presence, or at least the person that's infecting Goku's body, says, "You're not what I seek, I am leaving." And that's when he's pretty much searching the solar system, and he says, "I found another presence, I hope it's them." And Goku leaves, and this person says, "Wait, please don't go." And that's when this person notices that a part of his clothing had been dropped to the floor, and that's when this person recognizes the name Kakarot. So then we pan over back to Vegeta and Goten, who were originally supposed to train, with Vegeta saying, "Goten, we'll continue the training here, let's get started." And as Vegeta said that, Goku appears, and Goku says, "Shit, I failed again." And that's when Goten remarkably says, "Dad, what are you doing here?" And that's when Goku very connivingly says, "Though," and then he punches Goten right in the face, and he says, "I'm doing great, I'm getting used to this body." And then something catches Goku's attention, so Goku arrives and instantly punches Goten back down into the ground. And then as soon as he notices something, he says, "That presence feels like, yes, I can't be wrong, that presence is that of the Namekian people, now I remember." And that's when he says, "I found you at last," and completely vanishes. So it looks like Goku, or at least this person, is looking for the Namekian people, and Vegeta says that wasn't Kakarot's key. And that's when Goten's on the ground, he gets back up and he says, "Vegeta, do you know what's wrong with my dad? Why did he punch me?" And Vegeta is dumbfounded as to who this person was, because he knows that this is not Goku's energy. And then we go back to planet Namek, and Goku appears, and he says, "I finally found you, damned. I've been looking for you for ages." And that's when someone spots Goku and says, "Oh, it's the Saiyan who beat Frieza." Now keep in mind, we don't know what exactly is inside of Goku, but we see one of the elder Namekians saying, "Be careful, this is not who you think he is." And that's when Goku, cocks back his hand, and he has like this energy ball, and he says, "What a foolish way to talk. Never mind, I only came here to kill you." And we see how Goku raises his hands up in the air, charges his energy, and says, "Now you're paid for your insolence." And he begins to throw this massive ball of energy back down into the ground, and we see how it goes inside of planet Namek. And then he says, "Well, I am leaving, but I can feel a Namekian in a faraway place from here," and he uses instant transmission and leaves. So his overall goal was to find the Namekian people and destroy them for their insolence, but they're not really explaining as to why, at least not as of right now. And then just as Goku vanishes, the planet Namek is destroyed, the entire planet explodes, and we pan over back to Kami's lookout, where Dende is standing there, and he says, "It already started. That bad feeling I had is a real thing now." And then Goku appears. Now we see how Goku says, "I see, I guess you must be the last Namekian." And that's when Dende says, "Who are you? Why did you possess Goku's body?" And that's when he replies by saying, "No, I haven't possessed him, I fused with him." And that's when Dende says, "What? It can't be." And that's when Goku replies by saying, "I should thank you, descendant of the dragon family, but it's necessary to kill you, because on the contrary, you could end up being a nuisance." And that's when Popo says, "Be very careful, Dende." And that's when Dende says, "It was a real pleasure to share all this time with you, Mr. Popo." And then Goku pretty much raises his hand, and he blows Dende away. He shoots him right in between the chest, right through the heart, and we see how Popo is beginning to mourn on Dende's loss. And that's when Goku says, in a very ominous tone, what may be down there? I wonder how many lives are on this planet, and that's when the chapter pretty much closes off. So it looks like whoever infected or at least got inside of Goku's body has a real issue with the Namekian people, especially having to go back to chapter 1 when Dende had an uneasy feeling about the Shadow Dragons and even spoke about the ancient myth of the Namekians and how their Dragon Balls were created. So now this unknown entity has possessed Goku's body in order to get revenge on the Namekians, but now since Goku's on Earth, now after killing Dende, the last remaining Namekian, he seeks out to destroy the planet as well, and that's of course leading into chapter 4 of Dragon Ball EX or Dragon Ball X, and we see how the entire planet is unaware that the Namekians have been slaughtered by this person. Meanwhile, the Earth population, who live in a time of peace even after the appearance of the evil Shadow Dragons, are unaware of what's about to happen, and we get to see how one person out of everyone on Earth notices that something is wrong, that being Gohan. We get to see how Pan, Trunks, and Majub are quite unaware except for Gohan, and Gohan saying an evil key has appeared and it seems to be on Kami's lookout. However, he feels that Dende's presence is no longer there and he quickly rushes to that location. Meanwhile, we get to see how this evil Goku says, "I hope you're ready, stupid people of this planet," and begins to charge out, and he says, "Soon you will know who the real traitor is," and he begins to make his move. And while Goku is moving towards the people, we see Gohan, who's trying to get to this unknown key presence, and Gohan stops in his tracks after noticing that an entire city has been eradicated. We see how Gohan says, "This can't be happening. The city that was once rebuilt is now destroyed," and we see this massive explosion happen due to the courtesy of this evil Goku, and he says, "Damn insects, they'll die too fast. It's a good thing there comes a guy who's pretty different from the rest of them from on this planet, and he's going to entertain me, but why has he stopped?" Referring to Gohan because he noticed that there's someone out there who's making his way towards him, but he stopped in his tracks, and Goku says, "It seemed like he's not moving, I'll just have to go to him myself." So we see how Gohan is shaking, he's distraught as to what he's looking at because he stopped in his tracks after seeing the entire city get destroyed, and then out of nowhere Goku appears in front of him with Goku saying, "Boy, you are completely different, you're more than what I expected," and Gohan saying, "This key is the same as I felt before, but who are you? Where is my father?" And that's when Goku says, "Oh, so he was your father. Don't worry, he and I are only one being now," and Gohan says, "No, it can't be true. Then my father will not know. There must be a way. Maybe there's a wish on Namek that I can use the Namekian Dragon Balls." And that's when Gohan says, "What are you doing here on Earth? Why did you kill Dende? What do you want? Answer me." And Goku not giving him a direct answer and saying, "Well, maybe I'm here to fight you, or maybe I'm here to destroy your planet. Who's to really say?" And that's when Gohan says, "Damn it, you won't get away with anything you've just done." And then that's when, as Gohan is talking to him about Dende, with this person saying, "Dende, you sure mean the Namekian who lived up there? He was a poor moron. Right now, he may be together with all the other populations of the Nameks that I've killed." And that's when Gohan is shocked to realize that he indeed had destroyed planet Namek. Therefore, the Namekian Dragon Balls are no longer intact. And that's when he says, "You should have seen their stupid green faces after I killed them." And that's when Gohan says, "Shut up," and he begins to power up, which entices this evil Goku to say, "That's it, boy, release all of your power. Let's see. I remember this body can accumulate high levels of energy through a transformation. If I focus my energy, I should be able to do it." And then out of nowhere, just as Goku powers up, he begins to transform, and then he transforms into Super Saiyan 4 with him saying, "This is great. I have become the most powerful being. Get ready, boy, because I'm going to kill you." And Gohan stops in his tracks and he says, "He's very powerful, though I didn't want it to come to this." Obviously enough, we have Mystic Gohan versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku, or at least this evil being who's taken over Goku's body, so Gohan has no other choice but to fight this person who's infected Goku's body and now using Super Saiyan 4 against him, even if Gohan knows that he's at a huge disadvantage. However, this is what's going to blow your mind. So we go back to the Supreme Kai's homeworld, where we see the Supreme Kai talking to the Elder Kai, and we see Supreme Kai ask the Elder Kai if he knows who this person is that has taken over Goku's body, with the Elder Kai saying no. But then we also get to see how the Supreme Kai says, "By the way, how is it that Gohan was able to rejuvenate and go back to the same state that he was back when he was fighting Super Buu? I mean, hasn't he lost the form?" And that's when the Elder Kai says, "No, he never lost it. I had unlocked all his hidden power. All he had to do was keep up with training in order for his body to remember the form." So he says here that despite the differences in power, Gohan still has, his mystic form unlocked. And we get to see how the Supreme Kai says, "I have to go out there to help Gohan Gohan, and that's when the Elder Kai says, come here, I'll give you some advice, and he just choke holds him down and he brings him down to the ground. He says, moron, do not intervene. These are people that far exceed your own powers. What's more important is that you should observe. And he says, look, moron, the fight's about to begin, when we see Mystic Gohan rush towards Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So the Elder Kai has stated that yes, even though right now Gohan has a burden in having to fight someone who is stronger than him, however, Gohan had never lost his ultimate power. He still has his ultimate form. However, in competition against this evil Super Saiyan 4 Goku, it's quite unknown as to how Gohan is going to fare up, because Gohan realizes that yes, he is at a huge disadvantage, especially having to fight someone who disregards all life. But needless to say, this chapter summarizes Gohan being the only one to find out about this. Even though we don't really know as to who this being is, we see how Gohan recognizes the key, and he's very familiar with what this key is. However, we don't know the truth as to who's behind this alternate Goku, why he infected him, but we're gonna get to find out more as we progress on forward with Dragon Ball X. But post your comments down below, guys. What are your overall thoughts on Ultimate Gohan versus Super Saiyan 4 Evil Goku? Do you guys believe that Gohan should always have his mystic forms intact? As the Elder Kai said, he had unlocked all of his powers. All Gohan needed to do over the years was keep up with training in order to recognize the form. But post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all for watching so very much. If you guys are Dragon Ball fans, don't forget to go ahead and leave a like on this video. If you guys love Dragon Ball, of course, don't forget to subscribe for all the latest Dragon Ball news, information, updates, discussions, and fan manga reviews. If you guys have any other fan mangas in mind, go ahead and link them down below. I'm very excited to find out what happens between Gohan and Super Saiyan 4 Goku, so post your comments down below. Thank you all for watching again, and I'll be seeing you all in the next review of Dragon Ball X. Take it easy, guys. Peace.